Okay, Johnny, this one's got your number on it. Let's jam.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Cinema Jam. Today I will be going solo. It's a mini jam, but normally I meet twice a week with my friend Pablo to discuss about movies. The movie today is The Odyssey, the latest movie by Christopher Nolan, and is based on Homer's famous poem from Greece. It's a type of movie that you normally don't see anymore. Definitely is an epic. The Homer poem is an epic. I mean, a lot of stories come from that poem. Maybe you're not familiar with them, but maybe you have seen them in one or other iteration. Like, Mickey has done parts of that story, like the Cyclops. And there are also the famous War of Troy is in that poem. And a lot of, there are a lot of filmmakers that have actually done movies inspired by the Odyssey. One of my favorites is actually Oh Brother, Where Are You? By the Coen Brothers. That is a movie that I love that is heavily based on the Odyssey, especially around certain situations. But it's quite an interesting movie to watch. But this time, Christopher Nolan has put all his knowledge, all his experience. This is one of the first movies, or actually I think it's supposedly to be the first movie that has been shot completely on 70mm IMAX, and it looks beautiful. I watched it in IMAX, not real IMAX, but a good IMAX screen we have here in Austin, and I enjoy it immensely. It was very bombastic. The sound was sometimes overwhelming, to be honest, especially because normally when we watch movies based on the Odyssey, they don't really go deep on the action sequences. So this is a seafaring adventure. This is a very Machiavellical story as well, because there is a lot of people that are behind the throne, or that want the throne. That Odysseus is the king of a country in Greece, and so a lot of people are behind his throne. And there is his son that didn't meet his father because he went to the war when he was a baby. And there is a lot of characters that sometimes they come in, they and go, but they always give all of their presence. And I was especially surprised by the performance of Charlize Theron as Callisto and Samantha Morton as Circe. Very beautiful performances, very short appearances, but they did a great job. But the main cast, is especially because the movie is really around Matt Damon as Odysseus, Robert Pattinson as Antinous. The only way to describe this is the bad guy here, and he's the one that is pulling all the strings, trying to get Tom Holland, the son of Odysseus, Telemachus, trying to get him killed. He's trying to marry. Also a great performance by Anne Hathaway as Penelope, the wife of Odysseus. So there is a lot of beautiful performance that come in and go, but the main cast does a great job. And especially if you're able to see it in an IMAX theater or a 70mm screening as well, you will be able to see a lot of detail and the vibrant photography that Christopher Nolan does, especially because the movie, you can tell, is made with little special effects. I mean, it obviously has a lot of special effects, but you can feel that Christopher Nolan is a director that still use a lot of practical effects, and you can tell it in the performances. It's something that we have lost a little during the years with the introduction of a lot of CGI effects and the volume, that, yes, they're making the works easier, but you're losing a little bit of what made this type of movies great. And I have to be honest, I was a little bit worried because sometimes when we see this type of epics, these movies that are so grand, that are trying to tell a story that is so large. I mean, we're talking about 27 years or something like that, or 21 years is I think the time that he spent during the war and then trying to come back. So Matt Damon, Odysseus journey, and that's why it's called the Odyssey. So these 20 years, I was a little bit worried because in many of the adaptations, they only show a little bit and they really don't sometimes the scenes are not really interesting, but we spent a lot of time with him in the sea. We spent a lot of time with him getting in land or islands that he finds in the Mediterranean, and he's trying to get food, and so he encounters a lot of different creatures or elements that the gods had left behind, and that will eventually lead to the destruction of his crew. And everything, you can tell the weight of that journey and the loss of his soldiers that are really causing him to feel bad, and are really causing him to feel the weight of his decisions. And I really like that about it. The music was great. The cinematography was amazing. I really hope that a lot of people are able to see it in the big screen. And that's my review of the Odyssey. Until next time, keep jamming about movies.